Hey guys!
Howdy!
Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing our November wrap-up.
We did it. We did something.
Yeah, there are definitely some DNFs on this list, but guys, we read a lot more books than we said we were going to read.
So,
how exciting is that?
it's pretty exciting.
I mean, granted, we didn't get through our TBR from last month.
But, you know, we've set goals, and then we added a couple.
It's like the goal was here, and then we went down a little, because like we DNF, and then we went
Up!
Okay.
So first we're going to be wrapping up our Google Picked Our Books TBR.
Which is the 5 books that we were
planning to read. And then we'll go into some fun reads and exciting things that we got to read.
All right. So...
Okay, for real. Together.
I was for real. I've been for real this whole time.
All right, we're doing Google wrap up right now. Let's do it.
Bum bum
Da 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 bum bum da.
All right, so the first book that I read for Google Picked Our Books is Another Brooklyn. And Another Brooklyn.
Another Brooklyn by Jacqueline
Woodson.
There we go.
And this is a book basically about her childhood. I'm actually not sure if it's about Jacqueline's actual childhood or if it's just the character's childhood. All right, so Another Brooklyn is about the main character, August, and her life as she comes back home for her father's funeral and then runs into a old, not family friend, but old friend, from her childhood.
Just brings her back down memory lane.
Yeah, just brings her back down memory lane. Set in the 1970s, she grows up in Brooklyn. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this book. I probably won't read it again, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read. And it was interesting to kind of see the culture in Brooklyn and also the themes of like the racism that she experienced as a child, how she noticed the gentrification of Brooklyn. And I thought that was really interesting because I know when I was growing up, people were always talking about how Brooklyn was like hipster and cool. I don't know if it is still now because I don't live in New York, but I thought that was really interesting from reading it. So,
and it wasn't the first book I read this month, but I did listen to Another Brooklyn as well, and I pretty much enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars, I think. I liked it enough. I'll probably reread it, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have to read this book.
Yeah, like have it on my bookshelf kind of thing.
Yeah, like I really liked it. And I kind of compared it to Dracula. I know it sounds crazy, but in the story, she's an archaeologist. And she had more of like a scientific way of how she explained how memories were. And it definitely came off, because I also listened to Dracula on audiobook. So it was just read more like that book to me. And I enjoyed that audiobook as I enjoyed Another Brooklyn. So
it does have like a couple of like light trigger warnings, I would say, as far as sexual assault and suicide. But other than that, I mean, I think I would give it a 3 for the reasons that I stated. So anyway, on to book number 2. We also read The Outsiders. This book is so tiny that you can read it in like 4 hours. I think that's what you did. The Outsiders is about the main character, Pony Boy, who is 14 and 2 weeks in his life as he kind of goes through
eventful 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like a coming of age sort of. Like Pony Boy is a greaser, which is like part of like a gang type community, and then the Socias. Yeah, the Soch. I don't know if I'm saying it right. So it's all about how he's dealing with being loyal to the greasers. Then some traumatic things happen. But yeah, if you haven't read The Outsiders, definitely recommend. It's a nice middle grade book, I'd say.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was reading this, and apparently this is like the first. I didn't realize this, but she's a young teenager when she wrote this book.
S.E.
Hinton. And she pretty much created the young adult genre. Like, I didn't realize that this was the book that we were like, there might be a demographic called young adult. And it was her book that kind of put as that. Because it was sold originally as an adult book. And then they were like, we can put this in schools. We can sell it to teenagers, young adults. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool that a female author
Yeah.
was the one who
did that. Also in the book, she writes in the foreword, she didn't realize when she wrote it was going to affect so many people, because The Outsiders is basically about Ponyboy being an outsider. Even though he's part of this close-knit greaser community, he still feels like an outsider in his school, the socias, and so I thought that was really nice insight, because when I read it back in whenever, middle school, high school, whenever, I didn't know anything about S.E. Hinton, okay? I honestly thought it was a man, low-key.
Me too.
So
I don't know how I missed that.
yeah, I mean, because I don't think, like, our teachers didn't stress it. They weren't like, yes, a woman wrote this. You know, they were more on, like, oh, it's a coming-of-age story of this boy named Ponyboy, and the main character is a boy, so
yeah,
you would think.
I appreciated it more in the reread.
Yeah, definitely. Quick read.
Oh, wait, what did you rate The Outsiders?
I'd probably give it a 4, to be honest. I mean, like, I'm not going to read it all the time, but I like it enough that I'll reread it. But, yeah.
I'll give it a 4 just to credit the author, but it's more in the 3.5. If we could do half ratings, but we'll do a 4 on Goodreads for sure.
So our third book that we can talk about is, do you want to talk about Winston and Stars?
Yes, we read Winston and Stars by, I'm gonna mess up the name. It's Saint Antoine. I'm messing it up. It's a Experie or something. It was like a biographical work about his aviation days. He's a pioneer aviator, everyone. I could see how that helped him create the worlds and Little Prince. So I enjoyed Winston and Stars. It's about his travels as a pilot and like how he, used that to learn about the worlds and about being a man in society, or being a human being existing. Definitely just like that. It was more of because it's a French book. It definitely was very flowery in like language, was very descriptive of his thoughts, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say it's hard to read, but it was just a lot of philosophy that he was thinking about and his memories and thinking about on the plane. So once you like understood that's how the book was going to be, then it made it interesting. If you're not feeling that kind of book like Christine,
you can definitely DNF it, which I did, and I'm not ashamed at all, okay? I could not get through this book. Okay, the first chapter, he's basically just like telling you about the plane and about how he's got these two friends. One of them got stuck out in the cold and like lost his toes. Like when you say flowery language, he would be like, if he's talking about his toes, what is it called? Hypothermic. Yeah, hypothermic toes. He'd be like, the blue icy tendrils in the toenail curled downward as he flicked it off of his toe.
There it laid in the snow.
Yeah.
That looked like a cloud, but wasn't.
Because it was icy death. And you're like, dude, just say the toe fell off. Like, we don't need all that. But also realizing, like, it was translated from French to English. So in French, it probably makes a lot of sense. It's probably way easier to read, too. But for me, I'm like, this guy's from the 1930s. Like, this man drove planes that Jane's dad in Tarzan had to crank up and get in and go to freaking the island that Tarzan was at, okay? So that's the kind of planes we're talking about. But anyway.
If you had gotten to the part I got, his thoughts on, being a man, kind of annoying. But, again, that was antiquated back in the 1930s France. So as a modern perspective, it did take me some time to get into it. But he did have some points. I'm not going to say it was the best book I've ever read.
What would you give it?
I would probably give it a 3. Will I pick this up anytime soon? No. But if someone is looking for a memoir about aviation,
and you're into philosophy,
I will recommend this to you.
Anyway, okay, so on to our fourth book, Daughter of the Blood, which we both read.
Yes. It was our dark fantasy pick
by Anne Bishop.
I'm going to let you do the quick wrap up of what happened because I'm still kind of twisting.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing to follow, but basically there's like the kingdom and then there's like the dark kingdom, and in the kingdom, let's just say it's above ground. I don't know if it is. There are also witches, and they have like the way that you kind of categorize yourself in classes is by the color of a jewel that you use.
It's like your
for magic.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and you can like inherit it from your father or mother. So it's like the darker your jewel, the more powerful you are. And there are like all different kinds of like kingdoms where all these different jewels are. So yeah, so there's that. And the whole point of the book is there's like these queens, but they aren't like the true rulers, but they're trying to stay in power. And how they do that is by killing young magical people before they come of age to like get their jewels. So I like really this is a long thing, I'm sorry, but anyway, so yeah. And then there happens to be this one girl who is extremely powerful, like the most powerful person anyone has ever seen in like 1,000 years almost. And so there's like a group of people trying to protect her so that she eventually becomes like the ruler. That's like a very like short summarized version of what we read. There are so many trigger warnings in this book. There's like an incest aspect. There's a lot of violence, as in like mutilations. There is obviously some rape and sex kind of stuff. So those are the things to look out for in this book. It was an experience. It was really hard to follow. I'm not gonna lie. She drives it pretty far forward with plot. There is some dialogue, but the dialogue isn't very interesting to me.
There were parts that I liked. I liked Satan.
Like Satan.
Damon. And then a nice person named Janelle. And then you've got, but Satan is like this old guy.
Codger.
Hell.
He's
really
like the
powerful.
High Lord of Hell.
And he lives there. And he has these sons that are down there with their conversations trying to train this girl. Did make me laugh a little bit. Anyway, when you read it, you'll see. But I did like that dialogue. But it threw me off, especially when we got towards the end. The author kind of just kept putting asterisks everywhere. And I was just like, what is this supposed to emphasize? Like, I think I missed what that signified. So I was just lost for like a chapter. Because I was like, okay, is this like internal thoughts?
It's them like talking to each other through their minds.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I was like,
yeah,
if it's not, then I am lost.
It was a little hard to follow because from the get-go, you like don't understand their powers at all. So like we didn't know that you could talk to each other through their brains. They can like control things by using like a witch force. I'm not really sure. Anyway, there's like so many things. And then like it's not really explained about the jewels. So that's confusing. It's just a lot going on in the plot. Bless her. I know she was trying to build this world in the 90s and she was like, let me just put all this information. So it's just like a lot. But then once you kind of get used to that, it gets a little bit better. But even by the end, like it still didn't give me much. So yeah.
So will you read the next book?
Probably not. Would you?
No, I'm not really into fantasy.
Yeah. Probably the most interesting part of this book, and just something I want to note, is so there are obviously different magical things in this book. There's one character, I think his name's Lucian or Lucius. It's like some form of Lucius. No, it's not Lucifer. It's the brother. It's Damon's brother.
Lucifer.
He is called an Irian, and he is a winged man who is incredibly strong from a fighting race. I found it really similar to Sarah J. Maas's Illyrians from her series. And after like doing some research, because I kept seeing Irian and I kept seeing like this like behavior of the characters. And so then I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, I think Sarah J. Maas may have based some of her characters off of this. But I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. If you guys read Daughter of the Blood, you'll see a lot of Sarah J. Maas's like
inspiration.
Inspired by Anne Bishop. I don't know. It seemed like she was using a lot of the same characters and plot points, especially with like the queens being in charge and like making people like sleep with them kind of thing. That's like a huge thing in Sarah J. Maas's Court of Thorn and Roses. So anyway, I just found it really interesting. So I'm gonna leave that there, and if you guys are interested, then you should read it.
I haven't read that either. So you like Sarah J. Maas's, but you didn't. But you wouldn't want to read.
I think Sarah J. Maas's version of this story, because they are very, very similar. Like, I highly encourage you to read Daughter of the Blood. It does have adult content for sure, but if you're interested in seeing how that story relates to Sarah J. Maas's acotar, then you should read it. So Sarah J. Maas's storyline is much more young adult. Like, it's basically like the PG-13 version of Anne Bishop's book, in my opinion. Because Anne Bishop's book is like X-rated. I mean, she has everything you can think of in there. I definitely like Sarajmaas's version better just because it's not as intense. But I remember when I read acotar, I was like, this is so interesting to have. Well, there's a queen in charge in acotar, and she controls people and like controls men. I'm trying to do it so I don't spoil it. So anyway, I thought that aspect of sarajmaas's novel was so interesting because I thought that was so original when I read it. And I was like, I've never really read anyone who has had like this strong female character like this. And after reading Anne Bishop's novel, I realized she probably just based it off of that. So I'm feeling a little like, I don't know how I feel really. I'm like, dang. I mean, I like acotar, but I think Anne Bishop may have done it first. But then it's like, I don't know. We base novels off of like Greek mythology and use the same characters from then. So is it the same thing? I don't know. If you guys are interested and you have your opinions on this, leave it down in the comments below. I'd actually love to hear from you guys and we can chit chat about it. Cause
yeah, I don't know. I've only read Daughter of the Blood and I didn't like it. So
yeah,
I am so sorry. I cannot.
Well, maybe once you read acotar, we can chit chat about it. I don't think many people have read Daughter of the Blood that are like our age because we were young when it came out, so yeah, I can see how it would fly under the radar. Anywho, would I read Daughter of the Blood again? Probably not. It's like, I'm gonna give it a 3 for the world building, because like I know she was trying to do something with that, but like the execution of it is like a 2.
I'm not gonna give it a 2 just because it wasn't a bad book, but it's just I feel unfair giving it a 2 because it's not something I would typically pick up. So I will probably rate it a 3 because Google did suggest it for me. And I am intrigued to kind of see what happens to certain characters, but I won't be rushing to read it, if that makes sense. Like,
to get that second book.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it is like an 11-book series, so we could probably have guessed that we wouldn't get very far in the plot in the first book.
But yeah, I didn't hate it. But I think that's enough of this book.
Anyway, I don't even know. All right, so book number 5 for this month was the wuxia novel, The Smiley Brow Wanderer.
Why are you saying it like that? It's The Smiling Proud Wanderer by Jin Yang.
Because we both didn't finish it.
We didn't finish it, but it's not because we didn't want to finish it. We did not plan enough time to finish it. And that is on us. Okay?
It is an epic tale. Guys, it is an epic story.
When I looked at it, I was like, oh, this will be cool. You know, I'll read it this week. I did not put enough time in. I thought I had enough time. I did not. We both did not.
Yeah. I mean, time. I basically did an overnighter last night to finish it, and I think I have 3 chapters left. So I like almost know what's gonna happen. But the fun thing about this book is literally crazy things happen. So there was like, I thought it started out centered on this one family and the lens, and it ends up being that's not the main character. The main character is a dude coming in 5 chapters later.
Yes.
So anyway, I mean, I enjoyed it. I read it quickly. It's just such a massive story, and that is the thing of it. I think I'm actually gonna finish it in the next week, so maybe I'll have it done by the time we do our TBR for December. Yeah, there's like a lot of fun things happening, and it's definitely a tale of like adventure and like, you know, martial art fighting, and then there's some whoop-de-whoops where you think something's gonna happen and then something else happens, and there's like love and nuns and monks. It's really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I found this online on like a web site. Like,
it's like WordPress, but like for books.
Yeah, so it's like a fan of this book has translated it.
Yeah,
but it had a lot of rating. Like, it was like, obviously, so I was just like, I was like, I hope this is like legit, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to read, I think.
So that was like why I kind of put it off, because I was like, this one might be a little harder, and it was, but only because I put it off.
Yeah, the sheer volume of it.
Yes,
was
I
wild.
thought the first 4 chapters, because that's all I got to, was really good.
I also love reading about stories where there's like some form of honor to be like redeemed or like to be had or something.
And I like movies like that.
Yeah,
and I think that's really where I was getting. Like, I can kind of see. Like, I don't actually know the move, but I'm like, oh my gosh, the heart-crushing palm.
Heart stopper.
I was like,
palm stopper.
Yeah, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy. Didn't realize that sword art was like a real, because for work we get auditions and stuff for games, and it's like always like sword art or something, or like animes. I never realized that was like a real term.
It's not made up, it's real life.
Yeah, but yeah, so I enjoyed this one.
So yeah, maybe we'll finish it by next week.
Next month. Let's give my Jamie some time.
So the reason why we are so lax on our freaking November TBR is because we actually read 5 other books besides the books that we said that we were going to read. Because first of all, this overachiever, she was in like 5 read-a-thons this month.
1 or 2.
I'm doing the Hannah Montana read-a-thon.
I told you
a
could
buddy
get it with me.
read. I'm doing my book club. I was like, dang.
I've been in this book club for years. Talk about the book club book.
Yeah, let's
first.
get talking about these books.
So for my book club, we had to read Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile. Okay, these are a Hercule Poirot. Probably know him from the Murder on the Orient Express. That's like the main one. And he has to go on this like boat. There's a murder on board, and you're just trying to figure out what happened.
Who done it?
Yeah.
What would you rate it?
I'm going to give it a 4. Because it was a classic. It's not my favorite. Hercule actually got on my nerves this book, which I think is interesting because, you know, he's the star of the book series. But
I think also, like, giving a book a 5, it has to be, like, pretty fantastic for me. Like, you gotta earn that 5. So I think basically if I pretty much like a book and I'll read it again, it's a 4.
Yes.
So that's kind of
Speaking
how I
of
do it.
my 5-star read, I read The Hating Game this month.
By Sally Thorne.
Read it in a night really. And I was hooked so much that I pretty much every second
She'd be like,
I would literally run in here like out of breath because I can't breathe because they were just every second was like, she's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you.
the thing is, it all started out and she'd be like in her room and I would just hear like, oh my God. No. Oh my God. Ah! And then you'd hear like this. Because she'd like throw the book. And then 2 seconds later, I gotta see what happens. And it's like all behind a closed door, and I'm like, what possibly could you be reading? Because I know it's not Winston and Stars.
I would like pat her down.
Yeah, and then I'd hear this, dun, 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 and she'd be like, Christine. And I'd be in here editing one of our videos, and I'd be like, huh? And she'd be like, can I, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm effing busy. Get out. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, so anyway, Monique read it pretty quickly and then made me read it.
And she read it also as quickly.
Made me read it. Yeah, this was a super easy read. This is great.
Such a good book.
Basically, there are 2 people who work in an office for a literary company that has merged from 2 separate companies. One company is like straightforward, straight cut, like
very professional.
Yeah, they do everything how they're supposed to, like no fun and play. And the other one is like, I think of it as like loosey-goosey, kind of the literary company. Like they're more about the feeling of it and like the atmosphere.
Morale.
So our main character, Lucy, she and Joshua are the 2 people who work in the office. And it's basically a hate to love romance. Yeah. So, and it's great because, you know, you go in and you're like thinking, okay, they really hate each other. They like play the hating game. Little play on words there. It's just how it comes out of nowhere. It literally comes out of nowhere. It was like very 50 Shades for me.
Really, really love this book so much. I cannot explain it. It was like exactly what I needed to start the month off. And they're making a movie with our fave, Robbie Amell. And
yeah.
I'm also not going to be able to watch that.
I love him so much.
Me too. Like, I already know.
I want to be his friend.
Like, The Duff is our favorite movie.
Like,
We saw it twice in theaters.
First of all, let's talk about The Duff. Just kidding. This is actually a movie channel. But The Duff is one of our favorite movies. We watch it probably at least once every year. We actually saw him in person walking down the street in Burbank one.
We did. It was before I knew I was in love. Anyway.
See, I've had
we
hot
can't.
guys. I'd be like,
no. We can't get started about him. But anyway, he's
anyway,
gonna
we
be
love
the guy
him.
in this book.
Yeah, we recommend this book so that then you can watch him in the movie. It was so good, quick read, and we definitely recommend it. Haters to lovers.
Yes, so
gushing
fun.
over it. All right. Okay, I'm going to talk about this book next. So I read Children of Blood and Bone, and I enjoyed this novel. This is a young adult fantasy.
I was like, oh no.
Oh, no. I mean, I enjoyed enjoyed this novel. It definitely took me, I think I mentioned this to you, but it took me like 350 pages to get into it, and it's only like a 523 novel. Yeah, so she does a beautiful job of doing a plot-based book. She builds this world, and she tells you all these things. She's got magical creatures, cheaters, and lionaires, and she's got a group of people who is magical, but has lost their magic, and then another group of people who's trying to oppress them. So there are some beautiful themes in this book. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It definitely, I kept picturing the girl from Atlantis every time she would be talking about anybody at all, because the main characters, I don't know if you can see, but white hair, blue eyes, dark skin. So I just kept picturing the main girl from Atlantis, even though I know that they're definitely a different race. But I mean, overall, I liked it. It took a long time to get into because of the plot build, because of the world building. But
I've also read this book. I had to read it a couple months back for book club, and that's how I got her to read it. It did take me a while to get into it as well, because there's like, it's a thick book, and you're waiting on like, it was like maybe 230. I was like, oh my god. And I'm like throwing the book down.
Yeah.
If you guys will soon know me personally, it's all I need is a love triangle. It's really all I need in TV shows, books. It is what I need to scream and
freak out. And this isn't like a blatant love triangle. Like, it's not like in your face, as in everyone's together and then it's like them tug-of-warring over the girl. Very subtle, very subtle. I am interested to see like what's gonna happen. There's a gray character who I mean, I like him. I don't know.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I want to see what he does in the end.
I'm reading the second book right now, so we will have updates for
yeah, it's on my... I almost gave it away. I almost said it's on my TBR. The characters are great. I think it just was...
a lot of build-up.
Yeah, a lot of build-up. And I also took into consideration, like, she wrote this, I believe, for a competition. So I'm sure when she was writing it, she probably wanted to get, like, everything in there. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see the second book to see how her writing style has evolved, because I think it'll probably be better, for sure.
I'm liking the second book. But, you know, the characters still are the same. But anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah. Children of Blood and Bone. I would give it,
I give it 4.
Dang. My gut reaction was to say a 3 for sure. But
that seems a little harsh if you like the book in the end.
I mean, a 3 is like average.
Yeah, but it's a little above average if you liked it. We can disagree, obviously, if you're not feeling strongly.
I just don't know if I'd, like, read it again. That's my issue. That's how I judge if it's a 3 or a 4. A 4 is like, I'll read it again. A 5 is like, I'll read it multiple times. I don't know. Maybe I will read it again. I'm gonna say it's a 3.5
I mean, you just finished it. You're not gonna read it tomorrow.
I don't know. We'll see. If I end up liking the second one, then I'll probably read that one again. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, that's the thing. It's like, how does it keep going? If it keeps going and it's not good to me, then it's a 3.
You're forgetting how it ended, though. Remember
it ended? It was a cluster, y'all. And, like, when I say plot-based, like, there was, like, she had, like, action, 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 which is good. It, like, sucks you in and gets you involved. But for me, like, I like to have the characters have relationships with people. And it was, like, hard to kind of see that because there wasn't a lot of that building from the beginning. So I feel like I'm judgmental, but that's like how I am. So I'm like pretty harsh when it comes to like what I like. It's like a gut feeling, you know? It's like the Duff. Like, you know, you like the Duff.
When's the last book you had that was a 5-star?
I don't know. Can't remember. I told you, to get that 5-star, that's like the gold line. You know what I mean? Okay. Maybe I'll make that a video series, like on the
hunt for my next 5-star.
Yeah, on the hunt for my first 5-star.
In 2020?
It's like as hard as getting Michelin stars, apparently, I'm realizing.
Yeah, I'm like, what did it take?
I don't know.
Wait, what did you give The Hating Game?
Hating Game's probably like a 4.
Alright, did you have another book?
Oh, I mean, I read Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief. That was my other book that I read this month. I'm trying to get on the Percy Jackson read-along? Yeah. But they are currently on book number 3, I think is the one that they just did. And now they're on book number 4.
How many books are there?
There's like 5. So I am making it my mission. Your face. I am making it my mission to catch up and join this read-along, so pray for me. But the books are not that thick, okay? I can get through it. The only reason why it took me so long to read this one is because it was audiobook, and I didn't read it at, like, a faster speed. So, but these are, like, middle grade books. I mean, y'all know what Percy Jackson is, right? Y'all have heard of it before, read it before? Basically, it's this guy, his name's Percy, and he is half god, half mortal, and he has to go on a quest to find the missing lightning bolt. So this whole series is based off of Greek mythology. But yeah, I mean, I really like it. So I give it a 4 for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd read it again. I liked it. And I'm going to read the second one. So that's it.
I'm living through you with that. I'm living through you with that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to read it. I think it probably would have been like crazy good if I was younger when I read it. But, you know, as an adult, I'm jaded, so.
Finally, I read Little Fires Everywhere by
Celeste.
We're not gonna say her name and butcher it.
If she was here, I would ask her how to say it.
Yes, but
because I don't want to butcher it.
I think I did myself a disservice by reading this directly after reading The Hating Game, because the way I was with The Hating Game, I did not get that feeling reading Little Fires Everywhere. And I'm not gonna say I was bored, because I wasn't bored.
You were still on that Hating Game high.
Yeah, so I think I did myself a disservice.
The romance high. That's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm
and so
sorry
I went
for
to
you.
this like very deep family drama, and
there's like mystery in there,
but it really wasn't a mystery. That's what I think I didn't enjoy, because the book itself, she really did a great job crafting the community. It is from this place, like Shaker Heights,
Ohio, I think.
Yeah, so she is from this community. So she crafted this beautiful, like, world. Like, realistic world. But I don't think the characters surprised me in any way. Like, there wasn't anything the characters did that seemed like everything they did seemed to fit the mold. So like, you've got a wild child, a middle child, a mother and her daughter. Like, maybe it would have been different watching the show, but I think watching the show, she's seen the show, she hasn't read the book. Talking to her, I think I got more insight into like parents, especially Reese Witherspoon's character, because I did kind of feel bad for her reading the book, like that character. So those are my thoughts. I would recommend. It's very good. Like, I liked it. It just wasn't like a 5-star.
A romance.
Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, you know. I think it was my fault for picking to read this directly after reading The Hating Game, and I knew that. I was like, where's the drama? Like, where's the you know, the spice?
Where's the sexy flirting?
I know, like, where's the seasoning? Where's the salt, the pepper? But I'm 4 stars. Little Fires Everywhere.
That's kind of how I felt about Children of Blood and Bone. I feel like in that book, everything happened how it was supposed to happen. I think that's the difference between a 4 and a 5-star. Like, a 5-star is like, you think you know what's going to happen, it could happen, and then maybe it does happen, but you didn't know it was going to happen. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say about that.
So maybe you should read this.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe I should read this, and we can compare and contrast. Yeah.
So those are the books that we read.
I mean, this is how it's going to be, y'all. We are going to be reading more and more books. So we really tried to ease into it, which I think is laughable. We were like, yeah, we're just going to read 5 books. And then we were like,
this is interesting.
I think I'm going to read 10. Okay. So yeah, we read a lot of books. And next month it's going to be even more. We have a fun TBR for next month in our, should I say what our thing is going to be? Or
let's just say we're going to have a secret Santa.
Okay, wait, that was it. You told them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway.
Alright, we didn't tell you. It was a secret.
So next month we are going to have 4 books from that. Plus, I finally have a buddy read. With a classic lit group that randomly spurred up because of Book Talk, because we are on Book Talk now.
Oh yes, we have started a Book Talk.
That was a perfect segue. Wow.
We have started a Book Talk,
which we'll link down below.
It is definitely a place for
chaotic
humor.
Mess.
Yeah, chaotic humor. So if y'all are into that, follow us there. We also have a Bookstagram where we may or may not put. Anyway,
our Bookstagram, y'all,
help us. we're trying. We're crafting a community.
Woo! Like, I can edit a video,
space.
but I cannot edit a photo to save my life.
We're figuring it out. We're figuring all this out, but we're having such a great time. So just thank you guys for watching.
Yes, obviously, and sticking this long with us. Why did I mention the Book Talk?
Because we made one. And you made a classic lit one?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be reading a classic lit book with my classic lit gals. Also, if you're interested in that, you can still join and we can buddy read together if you would like. It might low-key become a book club now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh my gosh! Yay! Sorry, I got really excited.
Okay.
We're wanting to start a book club. You should do that.
Yes.
Well, I'm also doing a buddy read. I think we're supposed to start this weekend, but the holidays kind of flew by, so I will check in.
Yes, and then we're also doing a read-a-thon called the Disney Channel Games Read-a-thon, and there are 5 books for that.
Yes.
So
I need to plan that.
we are going to either be struggling or we are going to be reading a lot of books next month. Aren't we also trying to read A Christmas Carol with that like Christmas buddy read thing?
Let's not stress about it. Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is it. We went through all the books that we read this month and all the ones that we did not finish. And that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, put on the notification bell if you want to get more of these videos. And until next week, we will see you guys later.
Bye.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Every song. It's so plenty of lights to see with the carols that we bring on my store.
Why did I pick that one if none of us knew the words?
There's a Hollywood jollity, sobbity, sobbity, hibbity, hobbly do.
Oh my god, that does sound like bippity boppity boo.
In dabbity, zibbity, zobbity, zibbity, how many words do we know?
None.
How we got to something with this Christmas at your door. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Da 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 da. In every song. We got plenty of words to see and
just for you and me. It will be all right. You guys know we couldn't let you go without doing something stupid. Who are we? For real, we'll see you guys next week.